Greetings! I'm the Game Overthinker. I took a month off so that the other show could do a Halloween thing, which means I've got a lot of pent-up thoughts about game culture, which have largely coalesced into one coherent thought. When did gamers become a bunch of p***s? Why can't I call them p***s? I don't see how calling them p***s is disrespectful to women. No, because it's not like I'm saying are bad. I'm just saying that these guys display weak, submissive, and other negative traits which are commonly associated with... Okay, now I kind of see your point. Okay, can I call them shitheads? Twits? Foodballs? Wimps? Wimps? Wimps is okay. Okay. Take two. When did gamers become such a bunch of... Gamers, what happened to us? We used to be tough. I'm not talking about the games used to be harder thing here. That boat sailed a long time ago. Yeah, they used to be more difficult, because arcade games were designed to cheat so you'd spend more money, and console games could often only extend their length of engagement via punishing near unplayable difficulty curves. Frankly, now that we have the space and flexibility for things like trophies and achievements to mark skill success, I'm 100% on board with the whole everything is unlocked from the start if you want it to be angle. Let people play how they want to play. Didn't you see the Lego movie? And I'm also not talking about SJWs criticizing potentially offensive content or unreasonable desires for safe spaces, since as a grown adult capable of empathizing with fellow human beings, I don't see aggressively resisting either of those things as an especially worthy hill to die on.
Oh my god, you guys, I can't believe people who get bullied and shit on for the majority of their lives would want a momentary respite from daily torture and ridicule.
Yeah, why can't everyone have the natural responsibility coping skills and untouchably healthy Hollywood partying?
Oh my god! That routine has been played out since like 2009. No. When I think about gamers acting like a bunch of wimps, the subject in question consistently tends to be review scores. Seriously, when did we start giving so much of a fuck about this? Now, folks, I'm not going to pretend that video game discourse was ever on the precipice of turning into the Lincoln Douglas debates. In fact, we pretty much segued directly from 9-year-olds arguing whether Sub-Zero could beat up Dulcim to obnoxious pseudo-intellectual stumping about gamification. But the fact that so many seemingly worthwhile discussions in this medium lately turn into shouting matches over review scores surely represents a new low and a new weakness. Especially since it's not even like people are throwing singular scores around, i.e. this respected outlet or that knowledgeable critic gave this score. No, everybody thinks they can shut down an argument now by waving around the goddamn Metacritic average, as though being able to divide for a percentage suddenly makes you Billy Bean. Scores and stars and thumbs were designed to be a visual shorthand for a reviewer's overall feeling for people just skimming the page. They were never meant to be treated like mathematically quantifiable appraisals, because that's not how the subjective qualities of entertainment or art work. Mona Lisa. Solid brushwork, good use of perspective and composition, but the expression on the face is a little inscrutable, right? 2 stars, might look at again. And this is the namby-pamby bullshit I'm talking about. Pulling out a functionally meaningless statistic is how cowards walk away from an argument they're losing, because they lack the conviction or the ability, or both, to properly defend their position, and rather than go down fighting or even just nut up and take the loss like someone with an ounce of dignity might do, they whip out a number and start pretending like whatever they're arguing is a quantifiable science so they can shut things down and walk away feeling like they won something. And because we've allowed this attitude to fester, especially in the online gamer community, we've got too many people actually believing that review scores and Metacritic numbers actually mean something outside the specific interpretations of a critic and an individual reader, to the extent that gamers will now lose their fucking minds at a critic not for something they said about the game or even for the stupid score itself, but what it's going to do to the Metacritic average, as though you're gonna get a prize if Ubisoft lands above a 9.5. And before anyone tries to make a stupid sports analogy, please keep in mind that when sports fans flip out, at least it's usually about the tangible results of a game that actually took place. I promise you, the column in the Tribune is not what Cubs fans were upset about after Game 3. Look guys, video games by their nature are usually not terribly serious things and don't inspire terribly serious discussion much of the time. Oh, that they did. So it's not like there's no precedent for gamers overreacting and going into battle over dumb shit. Hell, I was there for the console wars, the real ones, back when differences were tangible, true multi-platform release wasn't a thing, and it was still slightly more acceptable for gamers to fight like children because most of us still were.
Seriously, Genesis versus Super Nintendo was like the Bloods and the Crips for 9-year-olds, who were lucky enough to not be living where actual Bloods and Crips were.
But folks, whining over review scores has to be the saddest, stupidest, most candy-ass thing to get mad about I've ever heard of. If you get legit bent out of shape about a Metacritic average, you are a wuss, and I wish I had so few actual problems that this would qualify as a big deal in my life. Seriously, there is so much important going on in this medium right now. Emerging design theories, new markets, the changing face of fandom, harassment, politics, iconic designers walking away from the game, once powerful companies falling apart, the largely uncertain future of the last golden age console maker, the continued fracturing of Eastern and Western game culture, what's going to become of real games journalism in the age of streaming and YouTube shriekers.
But I guess all that stuff is either too difficult, or too scary, or too hard to figure to dig into. So instead, let's all just keep crying about review scores. Ugh. Come on, guys! Seriously, that's it. I don't have a joke to go there. Just please, come on. Give me a break with this shit.